Sorry. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of Clay's Corner. I'd like to welcome you. We got a special guest today that I can't wait to get to. Yeah, it's something in my hair, but that's okay. Last 2 episodes, I did one on Father's Day. 2 on Father's Day, actually. One of them was about my late father, Larry. The next one was about my own kids. And I wanted to continue on with this family theme. And today we're going to talk about what it's like to be married to an amazing woman as a wife. The woman's the wife, not me. We're also going to talk about the struggles that come with, trying to be a good husband to that amazing wife. And I thought, you just don't want to hear from me. We brought in an expert. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Josh Canning. Whoa, that was hard. Josh, you've mastered the slide already.
Yeah, wow.
So welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
You are the first ever guest on Clay's Corner.
What?
Yeah, and it only took 7 episodes to do so.
Wow.
What brings you to Vancouver?
I'm actually here for a Alpha training event we did with a bunch of different parishes. Alpha's a program that runs in churches, and we were happy to host a thing, and you came and spoke at it, and it was fantastic. You almost broke an iPad, but that's all good.
Thank you, Steve, for your for your understanding. And it's crazy. We're trying to knock this out in 7 minutes before you have to get to the airport.
Yeah, and this is the 15th take.
So we wasted about 12 minutes already. So Josh, along with Alpha, you are also the founder of a wonderful website that I sometimes contribute to. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
Canadian Catholic is a blog. It really aims to speak to young Canadian Catholics.
That's the name.
Shouldn't have taken that long to describe that. But it aims to speak to young disciples on modern topics of the faith and to encourage them in their walk as followers of Jesus Christ.
Awesome. And the website name actually?
It's CanadianCatholic.net.
And then you are the founder and the main contributor.
I am,
and you also have a few people that sometimes...
Yeah. The second ever contributor, I believe, was this guy. But I believe that was back in the days of MSN and maybe ICQ. I haven't seen a contribution in a while.
Don't forget Asian Avenue.
That was my yeah. I was never on there, but yeah.
Kicked you off. If the reader goes to CanadianCatholic.net, what sort of articles would they see?
Mm-hmm. The most popular ones are the ones on relationships. So how do I really navigate the dating world today as a Catholic?
Because we go on a lot of dates.
Yeah, seriously. Learn from the best, people. Topics like spirituality, prayer life, just living as a young professional in the world, but trying to keep your faith there, and how to bring your faith to others. Those are some of the main topics we talk about.
Awesome. So please go check it out. Josh does update it regularly, but check it out after you finish watching this Clay's Corner.
No, just go now. Just so you can just pause and just go.
So what are we going to talk about today, Josh?
We're going to talk about how lucky we are to have the wives that we have, and how we need to keep up the struggle to be better husbands. Yeah, my wife is a fantastic woman. We live in Toronto, Ontario. She is a proud mother of 6 kids. She is just a dynamo, creative.
What's her name?
Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah, creative, entrepreneur, fantastic person who calls out the best in me, makes me the best version of myself, and gets more beautiful every day. Yeah.
How am I going to follow that?
I don't know. Well, probably edit me out, I guess.
As many of you know, my lovely wife Gail, she's the one who introduced me to Jesus Christ in the Catholic Church. Started dating in high school back in 1989, and I came to the church in 1993. Received all my sacraments, went to World Youth Day, and that started my youth ministry experience. Wow. So Gail and I often talk about the fact if I had never met her, would I actually have been introduced to Jesus? That's my full-time...
You owe everything to her.
My job.
Your career and everything pretty much.
Yeah, and she reminds me that all the time. You heard a bit about Lisa, you heard about me.
Wait, pause. I should tell you, my wife actually brought me to Jesus as well. It was meeting her at a youth event I had no real spiritual interest in being at, but through her faith and through the way that she was expressing her faith for the Lord, I became aware of something that was lacking in my own life, and basically acknowledged my craving for it and felt God respond to that. And that was really the return of myself to the church. So both of us have these amazing, beautiful women who brought God back into our lives. That's pretty crazy.
It's awesome, and it shows how humble they are, how unselfish they are.
Yeah.
And there's that saying, behind every strong man is a stronger woman.
Absolutely.
And behind that stronger woman is obviously a strong Lord who had to put a calling on them to bring us to...
And somehow amongst all that, all their strengths, Taste in Men was not one of them. They didn't have super high standards for their future husband, and luckily we were both able to scoot in there.
Let's spend a few minutes just talking about how really our wives bring out the best in us.
Yeah.
Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, well, my wife, she's as I said, she's a remarkable person, and she is a natural coach. She wants people to thrive. And what I've experienced in my life with her is she will see things in me that I don't know are there necessarily, and she'll draw them out, sometimes gently, sometimes forcefully, but she doesn't let me cop out on things. So an example would be, I've always had an aversion to public speaking, but she's always seen in me the message, there's a message that needs to come out, and so she would kind of just get on me, and eventually send me to coaching in that, and now I love public speaking. But the reality is it's my wife who saw it in me, and I believe in what she sees. So
awesome. How long was that coaching course?
That was only 3.5 days.
You sure she just didn't want you out of the house for 4 weeks?
It could have been. You know what? It could have been. Thanks for pushing a button there.
One thing along the same lines that I think Gail does that we do well together is we're really good at, I think now, finding out and discovering and naming our strengths and weaknesses. And I'm 42 years old, and this might...
You look much older.
It's supposed to go the other way.
Oh, sorry.
Some people might not agree with me on this point, Josh, but I believe, for me, I'd rather capitalize on my strengths and utilize my strengths. I know a lot of people say, you should always improve, always work on your weaknesses. I think Gail does a really good job of picking up for me where those weaknesses are and helping me name them. Yeah. And she does affirm me. I'm the more public, surprise, the more public person.
Really?
The more social when it comes to traveling or speaking or doing these silly blogs or the Canuck stuff. That gives me life, along with being a husband and being a father. Yeah. That stuff gives me life too, and she gives me the freedom to explore those things.
That's great. Yeah, my wife would be the same in that she does acknowledge my actual weaknesses, and she reminds me of them.
Yeah.
And
small list.
Yeah, right. And she'll say, you shouldn't be doing that. That's just not in your wheelhouse. If you can avoid doing that, then you should avoid doing that. But it's kind of neat that maybe what I would have seen as my weaknesses, she disagreed with, and kind of that's the great thing a spouse can do, is help you to really understand yourself better and call the best out, wouldn't you say?
Let's move this now from to more spiritual side of it, and let's talk about how our wives can kind of challenge us and affirm us as whether men of God or godly husbands or fathers, whatever it may be.
Yeah. I think it's really great to have somebody. I mean, it's very easy to fall into bad habits, even if it's small things. Like if you're maybe not getting up with the alarm and you're just being a little sluggish, or maybe you're trying to deal with certain situations where it would be really good to pray about it, but you're trying to just wrestle it in a human way. My wife tends to bring it back to a spiritual thing. Sometimes she'll give a spiritual sort of lens and talk about the topic. Sometimes she'll just give me a sort of, you can get back on the horse kind of an encouragement. And sometimes she might even say, well, why don't we just pray about this? That really helps me. It's very easy to get kind of stuck in the weeds and things, and so she's great at pulling things back, and hopefully we do that for each other sometimes.
For Gail and me, she does a really good job too of sometimes just calling me out on little funny habits or things I might even just things I might say to the kids, even in jest, and she might remind me, is that the most Christian thing to say, or just kind of and a simple slip of the tongue. It's not like swearing or cursing them out, but even just the way we interact. Sometimes having fun with the kids, but other times trying to discipline them, and it's always a tricky balance as both a husband and a father and partnering and doing that. And I think that's the one thing that Gail does really well. She grounds us, she centers us, and she reminds us of what's important. And she'll challenge me, like spiritually too, is do you need to spend your energy on that, or is that the best use of your time and energy? What about family? What about this part of your work? What about this part of your ministry? So it's always good to have that accountability partner.
And it's good. I mean, fraternal correction is an act of charity. Fraternal, like the caring, like I actually care about you and want what's best type of correction. And we can do a disservice if we take offense too easily and try to reject that and take it as a personal attack. And really, they're just trying again bringing the best out of us, by maybe limiting some of the not so best stuff out of us, Clay, we've been speaking a lot about just our relationship with our wives, how they bless us, how they call the best out in us, how we sometimes need to struggle to be better. What would you say to a young husband, a newly married guy who's just going into it? What kind of advice would you say to him in order to thrive as a husband?
For me, it's all about open communication. And I think along with the things about naming strengths and weaknesses and being accountable, holding each other accountable, it has to be open communication. I think trust and faithfulness. All that stuff's really important, but it all, I think, really comes from communication. And I think the times that Gail and I are doing well is when we are communicating with each other. I'll tell it in another story, in another Clay's Corner, but our funniest story and our biggest moment of enlightenment was a time where we got so busy, we got so caught up in our own careers that we weren't communicating properly verbally. And we resorted to writing lists and writing notes out for each other. And that was basically our cry for help. So that would be my one word of advice is truly open, attentive, proper and purposeful communication with each other. And as Pope Francis says, don't go to bed mad at each other, right?
Yeah.
Make it right before you go to bed.
That's great advice. Yeah, for me, it's in my mind because of a homily, a sermon I heard preached yesterday. But the gist of it was, if you want to love your family more, love God more. And it was that in committing ourselves, to loving God with our whole heart, God multiplies our love and makes us more loving to those around us. So I would say to a young husband, in addition to trying to be a good husband, and trying to have good communication, all those things, try to continually grow in your prayer life and your relationship with God and your fidelity to Him, and you'll find new strength and new ways of loving your wife. I think it'll be just a blessing to you and to your family, to commit to loving God, and God will actually show you areas that you need to grow. When you love Him more. So yeah,
that's such a good answer. See, my answer, I didn't mention God or prayer or Jesus once. This is why this guy works for Alpha. This is why this guy.
Your answer was original. I stole it from like a homily yesterday, so I don't know.
That's true. Maybe
we both need a lot of work.
So Catholic, original. For original Catholic content, go to CanadianCatholic.net. You like what I did there?
I like it.
Nice. And then we really want to thank Josh for being here. I hope you have a safe trip back to Toronto.
Thank you.
And if you guys like it, give me some feedback. If you like, put in the Facebook comments or the YouTube channels. Hopefully positive feedback. But I'd love to have Josh back, and we can talk more about how we do well as husbands, how we struggle as husbands, and how we are so grateful and really happy with our lives.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good, man. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Peace out.
Go. If you're watching this on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, and please provide your feedback, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, in the comments below. God bless. See you next time in the corner.